So this piece I'm working on here today is a redrawing of the original chibi version of myself that I did about a year ago, and that I was using as my avatar in a couple of different places, mainly as my Twitch avatar. And I realized I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of freshening up, so I redrew it. I had done a little rough sketch like the night before because I had drawn something else and figured might as well just get that out there before I get started. So if you guys saw the thumbnail and see the piece at the end, you probably noticed that there are a couple little differences since I wanted to tweak it at least a little bit because there were a couple things at the end of the video I was not completely happy with. I didn't completely dislike them, but felt that they needed to be corrected in some ways. Like the hands are not my strong suit. I'm not going to shy away from that, but I do try. And done a couple studies on them. But yeah, this hand, I was trying to go for like a way with like a slightly curved hand, and it didn't work how I wanted to, so I fixed that. But that was honestly the major thing. Yeah, that was the only real major thing. But yeah, it's gonna be about a bit of sketching as I get what I want to do for the pose and that sort of thing right. A lot of it will be me poking at the hand a little bit, just because I'm not 100% sure what I wanted, and then it didn't turn out how I wanted it to, so I just basically switched it around later on. But I just wanted to get a solid sketch down. So the other arm, and then there was ribbing, I believe, on the cuffs of the sleeves, which should be coming up in like 20 seconds or so, and on the bottom of the sweater, which kind of made me look a little bit, or at least the sweater were kind of reminded me of Arthur, so I got rid of it, at least on the sleeves. I'm not sure if I left it on the ribbing of the sweater, on the bottom part. It's possible I did. But yeah, that was the only other major thing that bothered me. And amusingly, I realized much later on, that I was like, hey, why did I put pants if I was just going to do the avatar from basically the waist up? Or at least that's what I used for all the pictures, including here on YouTube, as you guys can see. So it kind of made no sense to put pants because it was not going to be used, but I like pants. I like having pants, so also, just a tiny little side note, for anybody who does not recognize this program, if you see me poking off onto the side, like clicking into the middle of nowhere and wondering what the heck I'm doing, this is Autodesk Sketchbook Pro version, which is available for free, which I hadn't realized until like a couple of months ago. It was apparently a thing, and I hadn't realized it since I had been switched to Krita at the time, because the non-pro version of Autodesk Sketchbook has kind of a little bit to be desired. I'm not saying you can't draw with it, but there was like certain things in regards to it that I kind of didn't like, rather felt it needed, so I switched to Krita, which also has a few things that weren't exactly the greatest about it, but it had its strong points too, and it's definitely a good free open source drawing program if you want to check that out. But Autodesk happened to be the first program that I ever used when it came to drawing, so when I found out you had access to the pro version for free directly from them, I was like, back on chip again. But getting back to what I was about to say, the reason why I was clicking over into the other areas is because there's a brush selection tool on the left side. So there's that has to be picked up. And then on the right side, there's the layers and the color changing tool, along with the little bar up top. So that's going to be all stuff that I happen to click on at one point or another during this video. So I'm not just clicking into the void, just to let you know. And we're getting into the line art part. Which for the line art, I'd use both the stroke stabilizer, I keep trying to call it something else, stroke stabilizer, and, well, not at the same time, since you can't use both at the same time, but that and the line corrector. So it's like if I want to do something freehand, since there are certain things with the stroke stabilizer, I don't like how the lines come out, so I just use the line corrector tool, and it comes out a little bit better. I use those interchangeably when it comes to the line art to make sure at least it looks a little... I'm missing the word that I want here. It looks less disheveled. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So if you didn't see it in the thumbnail, I'm gonna, once I get to the colors, not the soft colors, the flat colors, I basically use the older version of this to pick up certain colors, like for my skin and my hair, because I find it difficult to figure out what colors I want specifically off the top of my head, since it's hard to really figure out what color it is looking at your skin and looking at the computer. At least it is for me. So basically I picked up that, although the shirt, well, actually that's a hooded shirt in the original one, which I decided to switch to a sweater for this version. I don't use the same color for that, although I think I use a similar color for the pants. That's a little heart thing that I decided to add there, like, last minute onto the sweater, because I was like, why not make this completely different than what I did originally in the sweater? So I was like, hey, let's add yarn hearts, which is basically just hearts with lines as if they were yarn in the shape of a heart, which is probably obvious. And there's the older version of what I did, which these eyes are actually sort of similar, which I hadn't realized. But other than that, definitely a couple of things I did differently in comparison, like actually doing the hands this time around, which I'm glad I actually decided to do. Because you can't get better at something if you don't at least try to do it. More pants, which is now I realize is necessary, and then here's the sweater, which, as you can see, is purple. I might have a tiny bit of a fixation on purple. Honestly, if I can could have gotten away with having my room be purple, I would. And along with the being proud of doing the hands, I'm actually proud of how the hair came out. Because I've been trying to practice with hair, and it looks a bit better now. I want the lines to be a little more flowy. Just like I would like my sketch to be a little more flowy, and sketch layer to be a little more flowy and organic. Because it kind of feels a little bit stiff, but not absurdly so. So, as always, room to grow. But in general, I really do like how this piece came out. Because it actually does kind of look like me, which is kind of the point. Although, I imagine enough people that I know are surprised I didn't give myself purple hair, which I had the thought a couple of times, but I was just like, yeah. Although, I'll eventually want to have purple hair. Or purple streaks in my hair at least. And adding shading color to the hand to look like my actual hand here, which is kind of hard to see, and then adding the lines to the hand joints. Because I'd realized when I had done the liner, I didn't put that there, or I think I might have put it on the wrong layer. I forget, but either way, I was like, I should probably fix that. Probably a good idea. And then after this, I'm going to add a bunch more, not a bunch, but a bit more like final touches, at least for this video, to the face, and then shading to the sweater, that sort of thing. But all in all, I'm really glad how it came out, even though I know, as I stated earlier, I did edit this a bit, so, well, not 8-bit, but it was honestly just the hand and I believe a little alteration to the face area, but nothing drastically so. So, yeah, in general, I do like how this came out. But yes, if you guys have enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and watch my other videos, which for now are mostly past VODs on from Twitch. But I will be uploading once, maybe twice a month. I'll try to keep that sort of upload schedule. We'll see how that goes. But I hope you guys have a nice evening, and hope to see you guys soon. Bye!